When Daniel Carter stepped off the plane from Iran, the world didn't feel real. It looked right, it sounded right, but it didn't feel right. Like he was walking through something slightly out of sync. The town welcomed him back the only way it knew how, by staying exactly the same. Same diner, same church bell, same quiet streets. Daniel rented a small house on the edge of town. Empty walls, a couch, a mattress. No past, no future, just space. Sleep didn't come, and when it did, it brought the war with it. Dust, heat, screaming metal, faces, always the faces. On the third night without rest, he found himself driving. No plan, no destination, just movement. That's how he ended up at the county animal shelter. The bark hit him first, sharp, chaotic, overwhelming. His body tensed, but he kept walking. Then he saw her, a small, scruffy dog sitting quietly in the corner, not barking, not desperate, just watching. He crouched. She walked up slowly and pressed her head into his hand, like she had already decided. He named her Daisy. She changed the nights, not by stopping the nightmares, but by being there when they ended, grounding him, reminding him where he was. Weeks later, he enrolled in the local junior college. 3 attempts before he made it inside. Daisy waited in the truck each time. He sat in the back of his literature class, always the back. That's where he first noticed Claire Whitaker. She wasn't loud, didn't demand attention, but the room seemed to settle when she spoke. Stories, she said, are how we make sense of what we survive. Daniel didn't write anything that day, or the next. After class, she approached him. You don't take notes. I don't need to. Or don't want to? He didn't answer, and she didn't push. I'm glad you're here, she said. That stuck with him. At home, Daisy followed him everywhere. A quiet shadow, a steady presence. But something else had started too, something he didn't talk about. It began with a conversation. A man from his unit, Ethan. They met for coffee. Ethan looked different, lighter somehow. You still not sleeping? Ethan asked. Daniel shook his head. Ethan hesitated. Then he said it quietly. I found something that helps. Daniel didn't trust it at first. Didn't trust anything that sounded like an easy answer. But desperation changes things. The first time was out past the fields, far from town, far from noise. The world didn't disappear. The memories didn't vanish. But they shifted. Instead of crashing into him, they came slower, softer, like something he could look at without drowning. He sat there for hours, Daisy beside him, the sky stretching wide overhead. For the first time in a long time, he breathed. He didn't tell anyone, not Ethan, not Claire, especially not Claire, because she was different, grounded, faith-driven. He didn't know how she'd see it, so he kept it separate. At school, Claire began to notice patterns. Daniel was changing, subtly. He was still quiet, still guarded, but there were moments now, moments where he seemed present. And then there were the other moments, days when he looked exhausted in a different way, not from lack of sleep, but from something deeper. And the nights. She saw him once, parked across from the church, engine off, watching, waiting. It unsettled her, not because she thought he meant harm, but because she didn't understand. Claire had spent years rebuilding her life after loss. Structure mattered, faith mattered, truth mattered. And Daniel, he was becoming something she couldn't quite place. One evening she followed him, not closely, not recklessly, just enough. He drove out past the last stretch of town into open land. He parked near a field, got out, sat on the hood of his truck. Daisy climbed up beside him. Claire stayed back, watching from a distance, conflicted. This wasn't what she expected. No danger, no secrecy in the way she had imagined, just stillness. She didn't approach, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. The next day she asked, "Where do you go at night?" Daniel didn't answer right away. "Out," he said finally. That's not really an answer. He met her gaze. "It's the only one I have." That frustrated her more than she expected. Not because he was hiding something, but because she cared. "You disappear," she said, "and then you come back, different, Daniel hesitated. "I'm trying to figure something out," he said. "What?" Himself, but he didn't say that. Claire steadied him. "Are you safe?" she asked. He nodded. That mattered, but it didn't answer everything. Days passed. The question stayed between them, unresolved. Then one evening, Daniel told her, "Not everything, but enough. I've been using something," he said. Claire's expression shifted. Concern? Curiosity? "What do you mean?" He took a breath. "Mushrooms." Silence. Not judgment, not immediately, just processing. "Why?" she asked quietly. Daniel looked down. "Because nothing else was working." He didn't dress it up, didn't justify it. "I couldn't sleep," he continued. "I couldn't think straight. Everything felt stuck." Claire listened carefully. "And this helps?" He nodded. "It doesn't erase anything," he said, "but it lets me look at it without breaking." Claire's brow furrowed slightly. "That sounds dangerous." "Maybe," Daniel admitted, "but so is staying the same." That stayed with her. Claire wasn't naive. She knew people coped in different ways, some healthy, some not. But this was something she didn't fully understand. And that made her curious, not just concerned. Because she could see the difference. Daniel wasn't spiraling. He wasn't disappearing. He was stabilizing. Slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. "I don't know what to do with that," she admitted. "You don't have to," he said. "But I wanted you to know." That mattered, more than she expected. Weeks passed. Claire began asking questions, carefully, thoughtfully. Not to judge, but to understand. "What does it feel like? How often? Are you alone?" Daniel answered honestly. Sometimes she challenged him. "Are you relying on it? Are you avoiding something?" And sometimes she simply listened. Their connection deepened, not in spite of the tension, but because of it. One evening, they sat on the porch. Daisy curled between them. "I'm still not sure I agree with it," Claire said. Daniel nodded. "I'm not asking you to." She looked at him. "I just want you to be okay." He met her gaze. "I think I'm getting there." She believed him. Not completely, not without questions, but enough. Daniel reached for her hand, slow, intentional. This time, she didn't hesitate, because whatever this was, complicated, uncertain, still unfolding, it was real. And for both of them, that was enough to keep going.